Good to go? All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I am going to use a microphone because I do tend to like trail off, and I know my mask can be a little bit difficult to hear through sometimes. Hi to everybody online. Thanks for joining us. Audrey will be taking questions throughout, so just type them in the chat, and she'll ask them whenever there is a moment. So we are here to learn a little bit more about the Louisiana Project Grant for the next cycle, 2026. I can report, I'm sure you all saw the email, but the funding for LPG has been secured. So I know that there has been a lot of turmoil in the federal government, but the funding from the NEA that comes towards Louisiana Project Grant is safe. So we are going to do this program this year. There's no reason why it won't go ahead. So the Louisiana Project Grants are administered jointly by the Louisiana Division of the Arts, our state funding agency, and the 9 RACs, the Regional Arts Councils. ACA is the Regional Arts Council for Region 4, Acadiana. This program provides a system for funding arts projects in all regions of the state by giving artists, nonprofit arts organizations, public and private schools, school boards, colleges and universities, and local government agencies the opportunity to develop arts projects that meet their local needs. It's broad. A lot of people can apply for this. Even if you're not a nonprofit, if you're an individual artist, you can apply with the correct fiscal sponsor. So the purpose of the program is to cultivate innovative arts projects that have a lasting impact within each region of our state. Right, so I'm going to do things a little bit different to previous years. We're not going to go through all of the guidelines because you have them in your hand, and if you don't have them in your hand, there are copies of it behind on the table behind you, and you can find them online. So what we are going to talk about is building a successful project today. So number one is to read the guidelines. Grab a highlighter, highlight all of the things that you think you're going to need to address in your project. Don't just read your guidelines once. Make sure that you're reading your guidelines throughout the writing process. Make sure that you're matching it up with the goals and the priorities of the LDOA whilst you're writing it. So I always forget to introduce myself, so I included a slide in here to do that. I've met most of you. My name is Kojevnikov. I'm the Community Engagement Director here at ACA, and we have Audrey Demahi sitting over there manning the camera. We're here to help you. Just ask us all of the questions. Our lines are open, our emails are open. Some things that we can help you with is identifying operating and emerging arts or community organizations as applicants. So if you know anybody who should be applying, please let us know. And we can assist you in developing impactful art projects. We can provide you resources that will be willing, and organizations that will be willing to collaborate on arts projects, because this one is a very collaborative program. So I'm just going to go around the room, and maybe online if you just also want to chime in with your answers so that we get a pretty good general idea. Who in here is an artist? Just put your hand up if you feel like, you know, you identify as an artist. Couple, anyone online? Who's that? Patrice. Oh, hey, Patrice. Okay. Arts organizations. Who's an arts organization? Okay. Any schools? No. For-profit organizations in here? Government agencies? So that's like libraries, municipalities, anything like that? Yes, the part of one school and the nonprofit. Awesome. And who hasn't put their hand up, and what kind of organization or are you? So, okay, so you're a historic, okay, okay. And yeah, sure thing. And you're a literary organization, Ed. So I would still say you're an arts organization. You're an arts nonprofit. Okay. We are gonna just quickly go over the agenda for today. So here's a couple of things that I want you all to understand. All of these things I've got on here are things that you definitely need to consider for your projects. They're all listed in your guidelines. I have left the titles of what kind of guideline it is in each of the slides so that you know, but I just wanted to kind of dig down a little bit deeper about some of these things and what they mean. So understanding LPG, what makes a good project, key to a strong proposal, projects that succeed. Culinary arts is a new discipline, so we're going to talk about that. The evaluation criteria, an example from KRVS's previous application, we're going to talk about that. How to build support, a realistic budget, some important guidelines to remember, and then resources and support. Got it. Okay, so some of the things that you need to consider when you're understanding the LPG project is what LDOA's mission and vision is, because these things really tie into the type of projects that they're looking for. So the Louisiana Division of the Arts supports established arts institutions, nurtures emerging arts organizations, assists individual artists and creatives, and encourages the expansion of audiences and stimulates public participation in the arts in Louisiana. And their vision is the arts are an essential and unique part of life in Louisiana to which each citizen has a right. So what we're looking for is innovative projects. We're looking for community collaboration. We're looking for cross collaboration between organizations and individuals. There's a bunch of things in just the mission and the vision that will really help you identify the type of projects that they're looking for. Okay. I just did that. What makes a good project? So on the guidelines, you'll see the LPG goals. This is really what they're looking for, is all of these things. We're looking to encourage professional artists to undertake projects that make an impact and or meet a local community need, utilizing the arts in each region of the state. We're looking to increase access to the arts for all who reside in this region. We're looking to showcase the region's artistry, creativity, and ability for innovation within project development. And we're looking to leverage additional local and national support for the arts in Louisiana. So you're looking to work with established artists, emerging artists, your local community. You're wanting to make sure that that it's accessible to a wide audience, that everybody is welcome into your program. There's a lot of innovation involved here, and the partnerships thing. We want to make sure that you're partnering with other organizations throughout the region. Here are some key elements of a strong proposal. So really, when we're looking at a strong proposal, the things that the panelists are addressing are the evaluation criteria. I'll go more deeply into the evaluation criteria in a moment, but the 4 areas that they're looking at is the artistic merit, which is weighted at 35%, the need and impact for your community, also 35%, the planning and design at 20%, and the budget and administration at 10%. So when you're going through your guidelines and you're writing your project, make sure that you're actually looking at the evaluation criteria and making sure that those things match up to what's written in your description. Right. New this cycle. So for those of you who didn't know, it is the year of food in Louisiana. And so I know that over the years, we have had some discussion about whether culinary arts is a recognized discipline. I think that in previous years, we have had ways to incorporate some culinary arts through folk life and through culture bearer disciplines, but now it actually has its very own discipline. So it could be a very food-focused project. So what does this mean? So this is included in the guidelines as well. It's a pretty long paragraph. I'm not going to read it out. But, the types of things that maybe they're looking for in this kind of program is a community-focused project showcasing Cajun food traditions through hands-on workshops and live demos. Weekly cooking sessions featuring iconic dishes, gumbo, crawfish etouffee. Who do you know who does these things really well and can share this stuff with, the next generation? Sharing the history of Cajun recipes and food traditions through community elders. Talking about what these food traditions are, the cultural practices that have come before them. We would expect some partnerships with local markets, schools, or farmers. You could also be creating a community cookbook with stories and recipes. That's another idea for culinary arts. And yeah, they're just some examples. And I'm happy to take questions. I know this is going to take a little while to iron out because we haven't done this before. So if anybody does have any culinary art projects in mind, we can talk about the feasibility of them. So I just also wanted to remind you that as well as this is new this year, but last year we had some pretty major changes to the program as well. Last year we got rid of the cash match portion, so you do not need to match this grant. Obviously, it looks great if you have any cash match, in kind or monetary is great. It really looks fantastic on the application, but that is not a requirement. And also, we will still be allowing the primary applicants to apply with 2 project ideas. They have to be separate ideas. And still, if you're a nonprofit, you can still be a fiscal sponsor for other projects. Any questions so far? You don't have to submit 2 project ideas. If you don't have 2 strong ideas, I would just submit 1 really good idea. It's not a requirement to have 2. It's just that we're looking to increase the number of applications that we get. And so we're allowing organizations and individuals to apply for up to 2. You just can't apply for 3 unless it's as a fiscal sponsor. Okay, so I want to drill down into the evaluation criteria a little bit more. So the first one we have is artistic merit. So what we're looking for in artistic merit is the expertise of artists involved as providers of service, the degree of artistry and/or innovation involved in the project, and there is a bonus point, or up to 5 bonus points for the incorporation of local artists or art forms. So what does this mean? Expertise of artists, how are you going to show that? You're going to show that through resumes, through work samples, through The provider of services form, we definitely need to have all three of those to be able to successfully show the expertise of the artist that you're using. The degree of artistry and or innovation involved on a project, I need you to describe to me why it's innovative. There is a glossary term in the back of the guidelines which describes what innovation means, just to help you really understand what they're looking for. An incorporation of local artists or art forms. I think most people here do use other artists from the local area. Sometimes we're looking at workshops where we're bringing people in from out of town. That's totally fine because I do think that it adds value to teaching people here other skills from other regions or from on a national scale. But this is just really looking at ways to really foster the community that we have here as well. Okay, the need and impact. So the need and impact will be based on the efforts to engage populations reflective of the community or engagement of new populations previously unserved by the organizations involved. So that means that we have a pretty diverse community here in Lafayette or in Acadiana. And how are you working with your community? Is it representative of your community that you're working with? And if you haven't previously tapped an underserved community in your parish, how are you then including them within this project? The next one is efforts to address a community need or gain community involvement. Again, it's working with your community, understanding what it is that they're missing in their community with regards to the arts. Is it professional development? Is it just generally, are we looking to enliven a community? Do we need another festival? Can we bring a festival to an underserved community? And then the last one is implications of the project beyond the funding period. So is there any longevity to your project? Can you see the benefits of your project beyond the funding cycle dates? How do you measure that as well? And then the bonus points come in by demonstrating collaborations and partnerships across the region. So who are you involving from other parishes? If you're in Lafayette, are you working with New Iberia to bring a different audience to your programming? And I just have a note here that also says highlight community benefits in your proposal. So what are the benefits that your project is going to have towards your community? Talk about them, let us know what that looks like. Planning and design. This one's weighted a little bit less. It's at 20%. It's still really important to understand for your own sake what that looks like. I think having a timeline is really important. If your project's not really occurring until later in the cycle, we probably expect a little bit less information, but if it's occurring this year, we probably need to see a pretty tight timeline, what's happening over the next few months. So the application will be reviewed based on the involvement of your target audience in the planning process. Who is your community? Are you using them to help you plan this? Can you identify them? Who are they? Let us know. The ability to track performance indicators and account for what may be learned from the project as well as quantitative outcomes. We're looking for hard stats in this one. We want to know that you're surveying your people, you're figuring out exactly, how your project went. Like, Are people responding to it positively? If not, what are you learning from it? Are they going to tell you what you need to improve on the next cycle? The inclusion of project evaluation methods. I know this one stumps a lot of people. Don't overthink it. What are your attendance numbers? When you're doing a survey, are you asking for demographics? What does that look like? Give us some statistics. And then bonus points come through with the clearly thought out accessibility plan for the proposed project activities. How are you managing your space for people who wouldn't usually come to it? What are you doing? Are you dimming the lights for people who have audio sensory things? Are you making sure that there are ramps at your entrance points? Are you just speaking in a plain language to help people really understand what it is that you're doing there on that day? Finally, we're looking at the admin and budget. So this one, again, it's only 10%, but it's still super important. We have a couple of points. We are looking at the appropriate request level and use of grant funds. What is the amount? What does that look like? Are you asking for too much money for a small project? Are you asking for not enough money for a big project? Like, we really want you to be realistic about this. My biggest advice for this is to have 3 different budgets. And you don't need to submit them all. Don't submit them to me. This is just for your records. The budget that you're submitting to me is the best case scenario. If you could have all the bells and whistles, you can apply for $7,500. What does that look like? The second budget is okay, this is what I expect this program to look like. What does the budget for that look like? Kind of a mid-range budget. And then what is the absolute lowest amount that you can do this project with? If you're cutting out all of the bells and whistles, what is the baseline for how you can produce this project? Again, don't give me the bottom line. I want to know like what the top line is. If it's more than $7,500, if your budget is more than $7,500, where are you getting the additional funds from? Tell us what that is, because we need to know that you can actually produce the project if you're not getting the full amount that you really need. And then the second item is clarity and completeness of financial information. Make sure that everything matches up. So there are financial fields in a couple of different places. You got your budget, you have your provider of services, you have, where else do we include financial information, Audrey? That's okay. Never mind. So so just make sure that like if you're changing something in the budget, that it's reflected in the provider of services, or if you're adding a new provider of service, that it's reflected in the budget. These panelists are really looking to make sure that there's continuity throughout all of your application. Okay, any questions about the evaluation criteria?
Will a project like this be adequate for showing artistic excellence? Re-establish photographers using documentary photography for residents using phones, working towards photography that is featuring the photos of residents.
Yeah, as long as it's like the submissions are open to the public, or the exhibition itself is a public exhibition, then yes. Does that answer the question? Did I get that right? Okay. All right. We're going to move on to an example. We actually have Cheryl Duval here in the audience. This was one of our highest rated projects from last year. I'm going to just explain to you why. because I think that that's really important for you to understand. And Cheryl, if I get anything wrong about this, please just let me know. So the project was KRVS's World Cafe. The purpose of the project was to shine a light on the diversity of Acadiana music scene on a nationally distributed program with monthly broadcasts for 1 year on 285 stations across the country. The LPG funds covered technical and production fees, which were essential for high quality broadcasts. The funding also supported the marketing and promotion by hiring a marketing firm, Burning Stick Creative, who are locals. This will enhance brand awareness and drive a comprehensive multi-platform marketing campaign for this large-scale national project. The support timeline will take place between October 2024 to September 2025. This does drill down into a much more detailed description of what that timeline looked like as well. So I just wanted to point out some of the things. I know that this is a really big project, and I know that this is hard to comprehend, but you've got to understand that they also have other partnerships in place, like NPR, that are supporting them through this. But that doesn't mean that this wasn't an innovative project. They were looking for ways to get Acadiana musicians on a national scale. So so one of the points that we talked about was national exposure. They had a partnership with NPR's World Cafe, which expanded visibility for local artists. They had diverse representation. They showcased multiple genres representing the cultural fabric of Acadiana. Cajun, Creole, R&B, indie, Zydeco, hip hop. Anything else that I missed? Yeah, so it wasn't just, Cajun and Creole. We have a diverse range of musicians here. And it's just really showcasing that we're much more than, what we're known for as well. They had long-term impact. The performances are archived for future listening, so we can go on KRVS's website and hear these performances live. Yeah. And then strategic partnerships. So they collaborated with the marketing firm. They collaborated with the WXPN, who distributes that on a national scale. This is the big guns, but this is just to give you an idea of the type, dream big. This is where you can end up. The 36 artists, partnerships. It highlights the artistic merit, cultural preservation, and media visibility. So they're all checking off some major boxes in the evaluation criteria. Questions? Yeah, she did a great job. All right. I'm gonna move on to some things not to forget, right? So a lot of the time we find applicants give us project dates that are outside of the cycle. It's okay that some of your project development or is happening outside of the dates, but that's not what we're here for. We want to know what's happening between October 1st of this year and September 30 of next year. You should absolutely tell us what's happening before those dates if there's any development happening, but you have to make sure that you identify that as not grant funded activities. Just let us know, because we do want to know that you're working on things. You can't just jump straight into a project and tell us it's going to be done on the first week if that's when the project's happening, but we do need to know that none of the funds are being used outside of those dates. So double check the ineligible activities. There's a bunch of them in the guidelines. I wanted to highlight some of them. This is not for fundraising. So if your primary idea is to fundraise for your organization, that is not an eligible expense. Capital improvements, so any big kind of construction happening on your locations, not an eligible expense. Food or beverages, so any kind of hospitality, travel, all of that sort of stuff is not an eligible expense, unless it's culinary arts focused. That is the only way that you can do food and beverage. And this isn't to support anybody's academic projects. So if you're, it's not for tuition, it's not for, you know, doing a thesis or anything like that. Fiscal sponsors. How many of you will be using a fiscal sponsor? Cheryl? Oh, through the university? Everybody else is a 501c3 or, okay. So for those who are using fiscal sponsors, so I know some people might be checking in later on this video, the fiscal sponsor must be a 501c3, and they must be located in this region. So if the project's happening in this region, your 501c3 fiscal sponsor must be from this region as well. If you're from outside of this region and you're not applying for Region 4, then, you know, that's a different story, but I expect anybody in Region 4 to be applying with a Region 4 fiscal sponsor. And the final thing, submission deadline. June 27, 5 p.m., by submittable. Don't leave it to the last minute. Please make sure that you're ahead of your schedule. One of the ways that you can be ahead of schedule is by using our draft review service. If you can get us a copy of your draft application 2 weeks ahead, we will review your draft and tell you if you need to make any adjustments to it. 2 weeks before. Audrey, what date is that? 2 weeks before June 27. Like June 9th, 13, June 13. Put in your calendars. That's when you need to get us a draft by. The sooner the better, because then you have more time to finalize your application. So these are some other ways that we can support you. Obviously, the guidelines, if you haven't already picked up a copy, they're just at the back of the room. Make sure you take one on your way out. Make sure you highlight all the important things that we've talked about today. You can book a one-on-one meeting with either myself or Audrey, and we will help you, you know, go through the guidelines. If you've got any questions about it, make sure that your project is a well-rounded package for the panels. This video we're recording obviously today. This will be posted on the LPG website on our website. And then we also have some blog posts that could help with some things. So just check out our blogs. There might be some information on there that you can use. But call us. We are here to help you. Okay. What have we got left? All right. Questions. Who's got a question? Hey, you want to? The total amount in terms of like what LPG, yeah, sure. So state for our region, it's all based on populations. Our region is again slated for $96,242. Yeah, it's not a small amount. Anybody else? Anything online? Okay.
That you're going to ask for monies for the film editor. This is working on this documentary to clarify or make it more professional. No, we will be asking money for him, pay him, the editor. Now that film is going to be shown right at a 2 o'clock matinee on these for a building, American Conduit, are we able to, charge for the film viewing?
Yes. You were just asking that you've got a film, you're paying for a film editor, you're going to have a screening and rain, and whether you can charge for the admissions. Yes, you can charge for admissions, and that can be used as part of your, like, if it's going to cost you more than $7,500, then you can budget that the registration for the film, like seeing the film, is part of your, yeah, is like part of your budget. That's not a problem. Yeah, that's not a problem.
And I'm like more that we're learning about this and for the Rain Historic and maybe the American Legion too with Rain. When we go to this website called Submittable, is that correct? And I have not tried to go into it yet, but is that something that we can work on our document and print out and edit it
Yes.
and save it?
Yeah. So for those who haven't used Submittable before, it is a pretty user-friendly program to use. You can write your narrative directly into the program. I personally recommend always having a backup in a different document, just because you never know what happens. If that system crashes and it hasn't saved your changes, I just think having a backup is always important when you're, do a backup in a Google Doc or in a Microsoft Word or something where it's got auto save. I think that technology can sometimes, as much as it helps us, it can also fail at times. Yeah, paper trail is great. Yeah, definitely. And then for the draft review, the way that we do that is we do it through Submittable. And so you would upload all of your information just like a real application. Before you hit submit, I would email me messages through the system and tell us that this is a draft and that you need it reviewed. The other option is I will accept like a PDF or a doc as a draft as well, but that's how we generally operate with the draft reviews.
So if the project is a continuation or annual, must it have a new feature to be funded?
Yeah, good question. So we have a lot of people who kind of apply for really similar projects year on year. So the question is, if it's a continuing project, does it have to have something new? And so if, a lot of people do apply for projects that are kind of similar or for a similar program every year, which is totally fine. But yes, it does need to have something different about it. You have to be able to like show us that it's attracting a different audience, or what does it look like for it to be a little bit different?
You have already received this grant, what's the time frame of being able to reapply? Also, if you were working on a large project that the grant money is to complete a portion of the project, would that be accepted?
Yeah, so if you're already funded through this program, this current cycle, as long as you can be applying for the next cycle. So I know that Cheryl is still within these dates of the World Cafe, but she's here applying for another project. Totally fine. The only thing is if she doesn't get us the final report before September 30 and the next cycle opens October 1st, that's a problem. So you just need to be sure that you're getting that back to us in a timely manner. In terms of so the other question was, if you have a large project, can you do portions of the project? I think that it's totally fine to take a big project and figure out what the small projects are within it. So Monique, who asked the question, she's a filmmaker. Generally, there are certain stages of filmmaking that you could easily portion off. So you've got pre-production, which is the development phase. You've got production, which is, actually filming stuff. So you're hiring cinematographers and actors and that sort of thing. And then you've also got post-production, which is editing or, sound design or the composition of the music. So I think it's totally valid way to do that. You just have to make sure that you're justifying it as an end-to-end project. So you do need to be able to tell us what the start of the project is, what the crux of the project is, and then how you're going to finalize that project and what the tangible outcome of that project is. So, we would expect a file of the the edited project. Is there anything else online?
I am on the State College of Arts. We plan to inaugurate a student animation festival. Can we use the fund for bringing guest artists for honorarium and flights?
Flights, no. Travel is not eligible in any circumstances. Honorarium is totally fine. So the only thing with these types of projects, so they're doing a film festival for students at the College of the Arts. The only thing about that is it needs to be open to the public. So yes, you're identifying your community as students, but how are you involving your wider community in this? You must be able to justify that it is open to more than just the students. And that could be with the audience. But we can go into detail about that as well, Jon, so you figure it out. Anybody here?
Sorry, do you think travel is not?
No, travel is not an eligible expense.
Some of our guests we plan to bring are from Louisiana and currently living in other states. Can they be considered as a local artist for the bonus?
No, local, what we're talking about with local artists is people within the region. We're region 4, so it should be within the 8 parishes of the region. And you can find a list of the parishes in the back of the guidelines as well. Region 4 is Acadia, Evangeline, Iberia, Lafayette, St. Landry, St. Martin, St. Mary, and Vermilion.
I know we talk about artists like painters and whatnot, but I might say something with a computer generated art, like for the side of a building. Would that be considered acceptable for a grant?
Yeah, absolutely. So public art is an acceptable form of art. Digital art is acceptable. Put them together, fantastic. Yeah.
Gift from a family for the American Legion, and it's a beautiful, wonderful mural that this family donated. Am I correct? Sign with a sign. But then they felt like they needed more art around it to complete that one sign.
So you're looking at maybe some augmented reality to to fancy it up a little.
Thanks. Because it's a big wall.
Yeah.
Pictures of people maybe in the service and different things in life.
Yeah.
We wanted to put that, and there's somebody that does that kind of art and then somebody else can produce it. So
yeah.
Sure,
we can definitely talk more about how to make that a full project. Anybody else over this side got questions?
How will APA co-promote funded projects?
So funded projects, generally, if you're looking for promotion on these things, we would expect to make sure that you have the correct logos on it. Our marketing department. So look, here's the thing. We're not just an arts council. We're also a theater space. We're a gallery. We're professional development. We're, a whole lot of different things. And we also promote a lot of our own things. So Sometimes it's hard for us to, take a full spectrum of marketing materials and share them in like a way that you would, hope that, we do as much as we can in amongst our own promotion of our programming. So if you're tagging us in social media posts, if you're, then our marketing team will probably reshare them. I'm not sure that they'll share all of them because, they have so many messages that sometimes they miss those things. But it's also, we'll do as much as we can in amongst all the other program that we do.
I think in the future, there is the ability to possibly create a calendar where we could submit all these events. Because I know from Jeannie's standpoint, it's like, we get this, but it is hard to promote it with so much other things going on.
Great question. There is a calendar that you can all use. If you head to culturalist.com, and specifically for us, it's acadiana.culturalist.com, which is CULTURYST. They have a calendar on there that you can utilize and self-manage all of those things. Currently, it's unused. But this is the thing is like, if you want it to be a successful thing, you all need to contribute to it. If it's not being contributed to, then it's not getting the attention that it needs. And so that is something. And then the Lafayette Travel often has that calendar that they do. Our calendar specifically on our website is for our programming. We don't have a public calendar in that way. However, LDOA, the Louisiana Division of the Arts, whose program this is, they love to get emails from you and for you to tell them what is going on. Let them know what's going on. They'll email it out to the wider community as well. Yeah. Yeah, so it's culturalist, but with an LYST. Yeah, Acadiana.culturalist, LYST.com. Hey, Danny.
Just as an FYI, community foundation.
Yeah, there are lots of calendars out there. It's just that, as I said, we have so much programming of our own that it's really hard to do everything for everybody in the way that they want. And so we do have to have some kind of like parameters as to like what we can and can't share. And we will support that promotion as much as we can, but we definitely do a press release at the start of the cycle and let the media know who's been funded. The media has your contact details and they will reach out to you if they want to do it. But it's also your responsibility to follow up with the media companies to tell them about your programming as well. Anybody else?
You mentioned an applicant can apply for more than one project at the same time. Is it possible that one applicant can have two projects funded?
Yes. Yeah, we definitely, we have had 2 projects funded last year. LA Folk Roots had 2 projects funded. Maybe one other organization also. So it is possible, but also just so that you know, like if you're applying for 2 projects, you are also competing against yourself. So if there's one project that you definitely want and one project that you're not too sure about and you get funded for the one that you're not too sure about, are you going to be happy about that? I don't know, but like, that's the risk that you run for applying more than one.
If a organization is fiscally sponsoring someone, does that count as one of their projects?
No. So just to be clear about fiscal sponsors, if you are an arts organization that is registered as a 501c3, you can apply personally for 2 projects. On top of that, you could also fiscally sponsor somebody who is not eligible unless they have a fiscal sponsor. Okay. No, there's no set amount, but also the fiscal sponsor probably has a limit to how much they can do. So it's really up to the fiscal sponsor. unless I've missed that on the guidelines. Yeah, I mean, I know that Danny said that he's happy to be fiscal sponsor, but I mean, there's only so much work he can do as a fiscal sponsor. I know that other fiscal sponsors in the past have taken on 3 projects, and it was too much for them. So really, it's just about people's capacity for doing that. And also that if you are using a fiscal sponsor, the maximum fee that you can include in the budget for that is $150. $150. So if you are going to be a fiscal sponsor, that's the most that you can reasonably charge for that. Okay, so I feel like folks probably have more specific questions based on their projects. So we're gonna log off. Here are our contact details. Please call us, email us, let us know how we can help you. Happy to have one-on-ones at any time. I can definitely send you a link to my calendar, and you can make a time directly into my calendar that suits you. Thank you. Thanks for coming, everyone.
Okay, coming June the 13th here, that way you can guide us like that part.
Well, June the